Nice show today, ladies and gentlemen, brought to you by our great friends at Chevy. Head over to Chevy.com/EquinoxEV. Check out product info. Lease offers amazing deals. We discuss on this very show the winner of the Sawgrass Creator Classic qualifier from the four-play crew. Go all through what to expect, how the nerves are. We go through what's coming up this week. Ponte Vedra, Players Championship. Can't wait to get out there. All kinds of drama from the Arnold Palmer Invitational, including a little bit of golf coverage drama and golf Twitter. Dave Portnoy jumping in. So a bunch of voicemails. We have a lovely little show here, Trent.
Yeah, really fun show. Big week in the world of golf for the Players Championship. Really good voicemails. Really good discussion on a myriad of topics. Just an overall really good show.
Myriad's a nice word. That's a great word. Chevy Equinox EV has a myriad of great features that you should be, excited to check out at Chevy.com/Equinox EV. It is a great little link. You go on there, see how sexy this thing is. It's got the best in class 17.7-inch diagonal standard touchscreen display. No compromises in terms of the interior. They got ample cargo room, convenient storage solutions. The Equinox EV accommodates with comfortable seating for up to 5 people. Head over to Chevy.com/Equinox EV. Product info, lease offers, amazing deals. Chevrolet, together, let's drive.
That's a tough headline for all of us, He did what? He's at what hospital? We got to go where?
Foreplay, presented by Barstool Sports. We are back for a huge week. There's a lot going on in the golf world, a lot to discuss. I was kind of putting together a little outline here, and there's quite a bit going on. People were pretty chipper right now about golf coverage. Dave Portnoy was getting in on a little golf tweeting. He joined golf Twitter, which is always a lovely thing, a lovely world. So we'll get into that. Arnold Palmer Invitational, just absolutely soul-crushing loss for Colin Morikawa and all of those who tailed him over the weekend. So that was absolutely devastating on the DraftKings Sportsbook. And for them to not even cover it. And it's like, oh, we're leading the tournament. They come back. You don't even know what tournament they're showing, and the ball just rolls into the hole, and now you're fucking losing. So I don't really know how that went down, but we can talk about all that. It's Players Championship week. We had the qualifier. We've got an esteemed member of our crew playing on Wednesday, playing the Island Green, the whole thing. We got Phil Mickelson's playing pretty good golf right now. We just got a lot going on in this world. I haven't been on the podcast in a while. I realized I wasn't on both shows last week. This is kind of entering that time of the year. We got Barstool Classic on Monday. We had Barstool Classic last week, Myrtle Beach. We were filming, but I laughed. I had one guy tweeting at me like twice. He's like, "Are you okay?" I was like, "I want you to know I'm okay. I'm fine. I'm still here."
Yeah, it is getting to that point in the year where we're all traveling so much with the Barstool Classic, with videos that we're doing, that there's going to be times where somebody misses or a couple of us miss, but that's just kind of the way things go. I actually just came from the park here in West Palm because we got a Barstool Classic there. This is a little strange because we're recording on Sunday, but you're listening to this on Tuesday, so you're living in the future. But as we're recording, I just got back from the park. We had a little par 3 tourney warm up before the Barstool Classic is happening on Monday. And I bring that up to say that I missed, I left my house assuming Colin Morikawa was going to win that golf tournament. Like I know that you tailed him, Riggs. I was like, oh, he's got a 3 or 4 shot lead, I guess, when I last checked, and I was checking my phone when I was at the park. But then at one point I was just kind of hanging around. I didn't check my phone. And then I did check my phone like 30 minutes later, and Russell Henley won the golf tournament. And I couldn't believe my eyes. Couldn't believe it.
I couldn't believe my eyes either, Trent. And I wasn't fully locked in. I had played a round of golf this morning, finished up. We were sitting in there. I was like, oh, I'll watch the last couple holes. This will be very exciting. And I had done the thing which I love to do. Shout out to DraftKings. This is honestly why DraftKings existing is just so fun, is that I woke up Saturday morning. I looked at the leaderboard. I picked somebody, Colin Morikawa, who was a few shots back. He was plus 600 to win the event, so 6-1. I said, I'm going to throw some money on Colin. I'm going to ride that guy. That's been my partner in some videos that we've done. We love filming with him. He's a great friend of the program. He's a tailor-made athlete, one of the best ball strikers in the world. Bay Hill's very difficult golf course, tee to green, rough. It's like a major championship. And lo and behold, I check again Saturday afternoon. He goes absolutely off. He's leading the tournament by 1 going into today. And then I really wasn't watching much because, again, we're out there playing golf. I was checking on my phone. I do like, before we shit on golf coverage, which we have to, I do like that the PGA Tour app has this feature where you can add a player's score to your home screen and lock screen. Have you seen that?
No.
it's a great feature. So you can select a player, and then you know how you can like star a player or favorite them or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Then you could go another step beyond that, and you can add. I do this with Alistair too. You can add them to your lock screen, so that instead of having to open your phone and check the leaderboard, you could just pull your phone up like this. It recognizes that someone's using it, and it shows their score on the phone. So I just kept checking that after each hole. You know, to get back to the golf cart, he's up by 3, like you said. He's 11 under. A couple guys at 8 under, and even then, people are kind of going backwards more than they're going forwards. So I'm like, oh, he's looking great. And then it started to get tight. I was like, oh, we're going to watch the finish. We'll get inside. That'll be exciting. Sit down inside. And, you know, we ordered some nachos, chicken nachos. I actually didn't go with the beef, went with the chicken, trying to be a little healthier. I got a chicken Caesar salad too, so all kinds of chicken. And I look up, you know, you're trying to pay attention. The 16th hole, I knew, you know, it's only a 490-yard par 5, and I knew that Colin was in the bunker. He lays up because there's a lot of trouble up there. Henley kind of he pipes a drive. He's got 180 in. It kind of flares it out to the right, and I watch it, what looked like Barry in the rough, and I'm like, okay, we're still fine. He's got a 1-shot lead. And then I look up, and they're showing the leaderboard while he's on the tee on 17, and he's just leading the golf tournament. I was like, now what in the fuck is going on here? And then I didn't really realize till I pulled up Twitter later, because we weren't watching it with sound on. We were just watching it as background kind of while we're chilling at the golf club. And yeah, then everybody's freaking out that they didn't even set up the shot. They missed it, which I just don't comprehend how that's possible, how they do that. And we're, you know, full cards up. Like, we're on a council. We are councilmen that you're listening to right here, in which we discuss these kinds of things. Like, they credit to the tour where they're like, you know, they open discussion about TV coverage, about the things that people in golf Twitter bitch about on Twitter. You know, they open up that discussion. I have to imagine this week when we all meet in person, this might get covered in our little council meeting.
I think you have to. And it is interesting. I saw Dave's tweet about it, which was 100% accurate. But as guys who watch golf week to week, or watch it more than you know, a casual sports fan, we've known what sort of hell golf telecasts have been.
Oh yeah.
Like, I mean, we've been doing this podcast for almost 10 years. I think this is year 9 or whatever. And it's always been a topic that they don't know how to televise golf tournaments, despite how many they do a year and how many smart people there seem to be behind the scenes, no matter how much complaining that we all do on Twitter and every other social media app. But it is interesting when there is somebody who walks in and says, oh, I'm going to watch golf today. And it's not, I don't usually watch golf. And then they're like, well, wait a second. Isn't this a shot if he makes it, he's leading the tournament, and we barely got to see it. And oh my God, it went in. What the hell is happening? It's, you know, golf coverage has always been the worst. It continues to be the worst. And you're right, I guess, as councilmen, it is our responsibility to bring it up at the next meeting. I don't know if that's going to change anything. None of the other bitching and complaining has changed anything, but they got to figure out a way, especially near the end of golf tournaments, when there's 2 guys who have a good chance of winning it, just show all of their shots. And then you're pretty safe doing all that. And they failed at it again. So yeah, it's just always been a brutal watching experience, and it seems like it's going to continue to be for the foreseeable future.
It's just been forever, Trent.
Forever.
Shocking, like how often they just don't show shots. And that's the whole my favorite part of Dave's video, where he was like, what's the point in watching golf if they don't show golf? Like,
dude, it's also the commercial they were showing was showing old golf. It was showing John Rahm winning the U.S. Open. It was showing Tiger. It was showing Nelly. It's like, no, we don't want to see the old golf. We know what happens in the old golf. We want the current golf so we can figure out who's going to win this golf tournament that's currently happening.
And I get that, like, a golf broadcast on a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, even early Sunday can be difficult to make that decision on what to prioritize and what to show and win, because there's a lot going on. There's, you know, at the beginning of the week, there's hundreds of players in the field, and they're all over. It's 18 different holes. It's like hundreds of acres of a property, and it's a lot. However, when you get down to the 16th hole of the tournament, and there are like 3 people that maybe could win the tournament, and they're playing the most dramatic holes, it's just inexcusable to miss that. And they do just miss showing golf shots so much that it is stunning, because it's not a particularly exciting product minute in and minute out. The one beauty that golf has, talked about it a lot this weekend with my friends, we were comparing different sports in terms of how those sports build towards drama. We were saying, like, Baseball's really good at it naturally, just the way the game flows. Football's really good at it naturally, just the way the game flows. Hockey is just not that great at it, the way the game flows. It seems kind of like random sometimes when goals just happen. You definitely get power plays. You get somebody pulls the goalie late in the game. You get some like built up drama in hockey that you kind of can sense that you need to pay attention. But in terms of the natural flow of the sport, golf is about as up there in terms of it builds the drama all week long. It's like 7 days worth, practice rounds, all kinds of like, they're trying to come up with stories and things to talk about. Then Thursday, Friday, they try to focus on the cut on Friday, which is great. I like that they do it. Saturday is moving day. They come up with all this bullshit to like keep it exciting throughout the week. And then you have about an hour where it's as exciting as it's possibly going to get. And the picture is very clear. It's like, these are the people now. And they even do it with the leaderboard. They just like start cutting the leaderboard to, at the end, it's like Russell Henley and Kyle Morikawa are playing like a skins game match on Tuesday night. They're the only people on the leaderboard. So they get it. And then they just missed the shot. And I know, having been back in the scenes with the production trucks and whatnot, like how much they hold the integrity of the timing of it. So that, because, right, if you miss it in real time because your commercial break went too long, you just show it 20 seconds later, but you build it up. You don't just miss the shot. That was you can't miss the shot.
That was the most infuriating thing about the Korn Ferry Tour. And the producers behind the scenes, they're great. They work really hard. They're pulling a lot of levers to make sure that they're showing a bunch of golf and important shots. But the one thing they won't let go of is you have to be watching something live, or, and this falls on the announcers have to tell you, this just happened a moment ago. And we fought every time we went to commercial, and you have a channel on your mic pack where you can talk to everybody who's on the broadcast. I remember we were telling everybody, being like, we don't care what's live and what isn't. It is illegal. It is illegal on this broadcast to say this just happened a moment ago. Just act like it's happening in real time. Nobody knows. There's 7 people that know, and we know, and we don't care. And just like with that Russell Henley shot, just run it like it's happening in real time and have a little break in between. Instead of just showing it as his club makes contact with the ball, don't show it that way. Show it like it's a lead up. Oh my gosh, this is a big shot. If he makes this, he's going to be leading the golf tournament, blah, blah, blah. Instead, they're just tied to it being live that they fuck themselves over for no reason.
They do. They treat it like they're the White House staff trying to hide that like FDR's in a wheelchair, and you're just like, no, dude, it's a golf tournament that maybe you're going to show it 15 seconds after it actually happened, because it's important to set up this important of a shot instead of cutting back in the middle of the shot. So people haven't even had time to wash their hands coming out of the bathroom. They look up and the ball's already in the hole. You're like, well, what the fuck just happened there? And then the leader of the tournament is acting cool, calm, collected, rolling to the next tee. I didn't know. Again, sitting in the bar, I didn't even know. I was like, was that for birdie? Did he flub the first one? Was that for eagle? What was that? I didn't even know what happened. So that was wild. And it would be, if it was a one-off, you'd be like, oh, that's a bummer. This shit has been happening, like you said, a decade now almost. We've been talking about this stuff on the golf podcast. And it started with, like, remember, you just couldn't watch the Masters forever? Like, remember, it's just like, it just didn't exist to watch the Masters until like the back nine on Sunday, it feels like. And people would wait all spring. You'd see the commercials during college football. You get all hyped up. And then it'd be Masters week. It'd be like Thursday morning. And you'd be like, oh, yeah, coverage comes on ESPN at like 4 this afternoon. You'd be like, what?
That feels like a topic that is 50 years old, but it's like 8 years old. They used to, now you can watch. They do such a great job now with masters.com where you can turn the announcers on, you can turn them off. You're watching Amen Corner. You're watching all these different holes all the time. Yeah, it wasn't that long ago that you were just handcuffed and you just had to refresh your phone on leaderboards until 3 p.m. Eastern. It's like, welcome to the Masters. So golf broadcasting has been behind in a lot of ways. And I don't know what to do. Again, we have the councilman meeting at TBC Sawgrass coming up this week. We will yell as loud as we need to. I don't know if it's going to get through to anybody, but it's time for a change, and it's been time for a change. I just hope that it happens in the next 40 years.
Yeah, we have a huge week coming up. Arnold Palmer. I'll wrap up. I'll put a bow on the Arnold Palmer a little bit, just with a couple different things. Michael Kim. I want to shout out Michael Kim. Great follow on Twitter. If you get really deep into like golf, he's a great follow. He's very authentic. He talks about He gives people tips. He talks a lot about what works for him, what doesn't. He's outlaid, all of his expenses and what it costs to be a PGA Tour player. He's just very he's very just kind of lets you into his life, which I like through Twitter. And now he's playing the best golf of his life. His last 5 finishes, 4th, tied for 6th, tied for 13th, tied for 13th, tied for 2nd. So he's playing great golf. I saw him up there once again. Somebody, too, if we're talking about DraftKings, might want to keep an eye on him and maybe, start sprinkling some going into these tournaments because I still think he's pretty long odds and he's playing really good golf. Kevin Kisner on the microphone in the booth. Kevin Kisner was great. He was fantastic all week. Russell Henley's one of his boys. If you recall at the President's Cup last year when Kiz was the assistant captain, he was with the Russell Henley pod the entire week. That was kind of like his guy. And, he's always like, that's my dog. And he's been telling me for years, you got to bet on this guy because Kiz always knows, I like to bet. He wants to give me guys to bet since he obviously can't. And he's been telling me Brian Harmon and Russell Henley for years. So it was awesome to see Russell. Of course, I had money on the other guy this time, and Russell Henley's chipping on while we're watching fucking Rolex commercials. But Kiz is great on the mic. He's just he's got a great voice too. He's got a great cadence. He's got a great demeanor about him in the booth. So it kind of got me excited about a lot of the NBC coverage going forward for this year. Hearing Kiz in there, and then Keegan Bradley. Keegan Bradley finished tied for 5th. He is a hell of a ball striker, playing great golf. He's obviously the captain of the Ryder Cup team this year. He was all over with the full swing coming out in the last couple of weeks. He kind of did what he's supposed to do, I think, on that clip of, now we're going to go to Bethpage. We're going to kick their fucking asses clip. He sort of walked that back a little bit. He didn't walk it back. He just kind of was like, look, I'll be honest with you. I was in the team room. I thought it was just the team in the team room. And I was talking to my teammates. We had just won the President's Cup. We were all fired up. I meant no disrespect to the Europeans. I didn't expect that to be on camera and go all over the internet. I was just pumped up in the team room, so I didn't mean any disrespect. And then they asked him follow up, do you think Luke Donald's going to use this as motivation? And he had a great answer. He's like, I'll be honest with you, I really don't think the European team needs any more motivation for the Ryder Cup at Bethpage. They seem to be pretty motivated. Everybody's going to be pretty motivated, and we're excited to get there. So I thought he handled that pretty damn well.
Yeah, that's a good way to handle it. The Team Europe, they know, they're coming to New York. Teams don't win away. They don't win away. So it's they're ready to go. They're walking into the Lion's Den. I think, it's pretty amazing how well Keegan Bradley has been playing. He's not winning golf tournaments, but it's always his name will pop up and he's making a hole in one at Torrey Pines. And then he had the lowest, front 9 score in Bay Hill history, out in 29. It's pretty fucking good for a guy who you think about Ryder Cup captains, and it's guys who are, sort of the cherry on top of their illustrious careers. He's just out there playing really, really, really good golf. Is he going to be, do we know if he's going to be a playing captain or not?
We don't know if
is that allowed?
I don't think he's going to finish top 6, I believe is what it has to be to qualify automatically. And I think, don't quote me on this, but I think that he has said he won't pick himself. So he's if I qualify at points, I'll do it as a playing captain. But I think he has said I'm not going to, if I'm 8th in points, I'm not going to pick myself. I think he said something along those lines.
You can't pick yourself. That would
I don't know. Unless you're Tiger Woods. Tiger Woods picked himself for the President's
I'd be
Cup.
fired up if Tiger Woods was the captain and he picked himself. I'd be losing my mind if I were on that team. But if you're Keegan, you play well enough, and he's clearly playing pretty well. But you play well enough and you get in the top 6, fine. I think you coming out and being I'm going to play, I don't think you can do that. So if he said that, I agree with that.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I'm kind of trying to look through the points right now. God, he is playing well, dude. His last several finishes, he's got tied for 5th, tied for 34th, 65th, 15th, 6th, 15th. Those are, like you're saying, he's not winning tournaments, but he's playing damn solid golf right now.
Yeah. So that'd be pretty wild if he were a playing captain. I don't think you got to play pretty well to get into that top 6. So it doesn't feel like it's going to happen, but it's good to see him playing well. It also keeps him in the mix. I think being around the guys, being at the golf tournaments, making the cuts, being boys, let's do this. I can still play. Let's just keep this thing rolling. So it was good to see him play well this weekend.
Yep. I love Keegan. Big fan of him. Another guy playing well that I saw, Phil Mickelson, had his highest finish in live golf history.
Really?
Yeah. Let me see where he ended up finishing. I know he was playing damn well. Give me this leaderboard right here. Ooh, wow. I'm not very good with this website. You spent much time on the Live Golf website there, Trent?
I'm going to sound like a PGA Tour shill when I say this, but I've never been on the Live Golf website.
Phil
I really
Mickelson
haven't.
finished solo third, 14 under par. Sergio Garcia won. I think that's his second Live Golf victory. He won, and he lost in a playoff. I think I saw Dan Rappaport tweeting. He lost in a playoff twice in the last year. But anyway, Sergio won, 18 under par. Dean Burmeister, 15 under. Phil Mickelson, 14 under. He beat John Rahm. He beat almost everybody.
It would be pretty sweet if he were in the mix at the Masters. That would be fun.
I know.
If he were just in the top 7 going into Sunday and like 3 or 4 shots off the lead, that would be really, really fun.
Yeah, it wasn't that long ago that he made that charge and finished like second. It was like after he had gone to Live. Remember that?
He did finish second. I do. That was just a couple of years ago. So yeah, listen. I mean, Phil is Phil. He's one of the most interesting guys to ever pick up a golf club, both on and off the golf course. So I want him involved for as long as he can be involved because he's just fucking interesting.
I agree. He's a very interesting cat. Saturday night this past weekend, went to a little place down the street called Putting World here in the Scottsdale area. You know, they had a live band going. People were putting around. We had a nice little money game going with my friends, and there was a 40th birthday party of a bunch of women having a blast out there enjoying their 40th birthday. We bought them a round of Fireball shots, Trent. These people went crazy. It just got everybody going.
You'll be in everyone's good graces if you provide them with Fireball. And that is the case on the golf course, off the golf course. Sounds like it worked for you this weekend. And yeah, like I said, if you take it on the golf course with you, every situation is good for Fireball. You have a good hole, you make a birdie, Fireball. You make a triple bogey, Fireball. And every time the vibes, they're good because Fireball brings the best vibes out there on the golf course. Just the 50 milliliter shooters, crack it, knock it back, and you're having a hell of a day out there.
Iconic cinnamon flavor, tastes fire, goes down easy, making it the ultimate crowd pleaser. It's the birdie shot of golf and the number one shot in the great USA. If you're really feeling like upping the ante this weekend, this week, anytime really on the golf course, hanging out with your friends, maybe there's a 40th birthday going on, make sure to grab the new Fireball Birdie Shot Club. It is literally a golf club filled with Fireball nips. This golf season, are you looking for an easier way to get on the course? Well, we've got you covered because the Barstool Golf Time app makes it easy for golfers to find the best tee times at the best prices. Stop all the searching through Google and all kinds of other methods for your next tee time or going through the hassle of calling courses. That's a nightmare. You can now search multiple courses in your area from one app and get your tee time set within just seconds, Trent.
You can't be calling golf courses. It's 2025. Like that is such a thing of the past. You don't want to be doing that. Use Barstool Golf Time. It's got everything there. It's got all the golf courses. It's got all the tee times. It'll do it for you. It's got a great user interface. It's very slick, very easy to use. That is how you want to book your tee times. It's the future. It's not even the future. It's the present. Stop calling golf courses. Book your tee times on Barstool Golf Time.
Stop calling golf courses, man. They don't want you to call, And
they're
here's
busy.
The best part.
Busy as it is.
They're so busy. They got a lot going on. Those guys are working hard. Beef would know. With every action you take in the app, you earn reward points, which can be redeemed for credit towards the Barstool store. Create a Barstool Golf Time account between now and Friday, March 14th, and get a free 1,000 points in rewards, which is enough to cash in for a free Barstool Golf hat and other merch again. Create an account between now and Friday, March 14th. Get a free 1,000 points in rewards. It's a great time to get on the app because we're running this promotion as we get everyone ready for the spring season. Everyone's getting ready for spring. You know it's coming. You can feel that it's coming. So download the Barstool Golf Time app today. It's a huge week. It's Players Championship week. We're going to be down there. We're going to be all over that property, Tuesday through, I think, probably Friday or so. We're going to be able to get merchandise in the tent. So make sure you check that stuff out. I love the Players logo. It's so clean. The gold man. We got great stuff from hats to hoodies to polos to things you haven't even ever seen or heard of before. So make sure you check out our merchandise in the tent all week. I can't wait to get down there. I love Jacksonville. I love the Ponte Vedra Beach area. Of all my Florida negativity that I have spewed before, I have come around over the last 4 or 5 years. And the Jacksonville area is a big part of that. I love the people. So I cannot wait to get down. I love the fucking golf course. I love all of it. I just love the Players Championship. So can't wait to get down there. If you haven't watched the video yet of the qualifier and you don't want to be spoiled, you don't want a spoiler, then this is your fair warning to fast forward for several minutes. It's going to be difficult for you throughout the show because we're probably going to allude to it. But Wednesday afternoon, in front of thousands of fans, playing one of the most iconic stretches of golf in the world, the back nine at TBC Sawgrass. We've had the very discussion on this show of where does Sawgrass fall in terms of most recognized iconic golf courses in the world. And I think we settled on it's like third or fourth. I mean, I don't think you have to go very far. It's the old course at St. Andrews, Pebble Beach, Augusta National, and then it's like Sawgrass. It's in the top 4 or 5 or 6. We did a qualifier with our team, our 6 folks that are kind of our core golf group now, down at True Blue in Myrtle Beach. It was windy. It was tough. We had a nice little gallery, nothing like you're going to have on Wednesday. And our very own Trent Ryan, who is an absolute fan favorite. People have been following Trent's journey for damn near a decade now when it comes to golf. Showing up, Frankie always alludes to it, showing up at Bethpage the first time we ever really kept score on camera and shooting like 140, the journey breaking 100, the journey breaking 90, the journey breaking 85. Now moved down to Florida, playing a lot more golf, and just golfed your fucking ball, Trent. In the wind, tough conditions, a lot on the line, and you played great. But now you got to really face, and I'm so curious to hear how you're feeling about this. You got to go out there Wednesday, and you got to play a hell of a golf course in front of a hell of a lot of people. And I'm wondering how you're feeling about that.
I'm nervous. I'm nervous, but I'm excited because as you saw, and as I've been talking about, and we were just out at Pebble, we've been playing a lot of golf. Like you said, I've been down in Florida and my game feels good. So like, I'm nervous just because there's going to be a lot of people out there. We've played a few times now. Actually, I guess a bunch of times in front of galleries and groups of people. And you always have in the back of your head, man, like I get why professional golfers are comfortable in hitting in front of people because the margin of error is so small. They're like, am I going to hit on the left side or the right side of the fairway? If anything, it's going to trickle into the rough and that's going to be as bad as it gets. I'm always in the back of my head, like I could take somebody's head off. I've come close to taking off people's heads with driver swings. Like it's not outside the realm of possibility. And I guess that's sort of what is the beauty. It's not the only thing that makes, these creator events awesome, but it is, you have the potential to see some pretty bad golf out of these players. Now, I will say we have gone against these events in the past and been like, the reason these aren't as interesting as these events could be is because the golfers you're having in them are pretty good. Like the Bryan Bros are in this event that I'm playing in. Like they're going to win it. Like they're professional golfers. Like it's pretty clear. It's pretty clear who's going to win the event. And we were like, what you need to do and what we are trying to do and what we're going to do with our own event that we're putting together is have golfers who aren't that good, but it means a lot to them. And I fall into that category. And, because I won the qualifier, I am now in a position where I'm going to be playing golf that isn't that great in front of a lot of people at TPC Sawgrass. So like I've kind of inserted myself. I'm going to just try to break 50, I guess, is probably my goal. Okay. Get out there, try to break 50, not kill anybody. Again, that's probably number one. But like I said, my game feels good. And that's all I can ask for. Like I want to play well. I played well in the qualifier, good enough to earn a spot at TPC Sawgrass. And I'm just going to go out there and play my best. I think I'm going to have Frankie on my bag. And so it'll be a little bit like, breaking 100, breaking 90, breaking 85 atmosphere for us. And I'm going to do my best. And then 17, I'm like, trying not even to think about it because I'm going to lose sleep. I've been asking like random people on the street, like, what do you think the yardage is on 17 at TBC? What club should I use? Like, I'm already going through like, what's the yardage going to be? What club am I going to use? Like, that is obviously going to be the most nerve-wracking point of the round. But overall, I'm rambling. I'm talking a lot. I'm excited. I'm very nervous, but I'm excited for the opportunity to play. And hopefully I do us and our fans proud at some point throughout the round.
I have been thinking for you about what the yardage is going to be on 17. I have been wondering in my head, like it's a Wednesday, it's not yet tournament time. Are they going to have those nets over the tee protecting it like they do on 12 at Augusta and 17 at Sawgrass throughout the week, are those nets going to be covering the tee so that maybe you're playing from way up on the front, maybe you're playing from way on the back because the nets are covering like the meat of it. So I've even thought down to that detail of like, where are they going to have the tee for this group? My guess has to be that for the entertainment value of it, they want most guys to have around a wedge or so in. So it's going to be maybe 120, 125 or so. Is kind of my random, totally uneducated, zero information guess, is that I would start mentally preparing for like a 125 shot or something.
That would be a dream. I would love a 125, 130 shot, just a nice little 9 iron for me. Put it on the surface. I just want to, like, you know, we played with Billy Horschel a couple years ago, and that was really fun. And we played at TPC Sawgrass, and I was able to put it on the green, and that's just such a great feeling. And it's like, wow, I'm doing the thing. I'm playing golf. I'm at TPC Sawgrass, and I hit the green on 17. We're really doing it. So if I can get a good number and I can do that again, boy, in front of it's probably going to be a decent amount of people out there, I would be just psyched. So that's what I'm rooting for. That's what I'm kind of mentally focused on. But yeah, I'm definitely nervous. I'm nervous for the whole thing. Like, dude, we did when we at Tour Championship, we did the inaugural tee shot or whatever. That's as nervy. Go back and listen to the podcast we did before that. I was like, I thought I was going to throw up. I could barely stay conscious. I was so nervous. So now I have to play 9 holes, or I get to play 9 holes. It's an honor. I'm very excited. But yeah, I'm definitely nervous because there's going to be a lot of people out there, and it's going to be broadcast, I think, probably on YouTube is my guess. I probably should look more into it, but there's going to be a lot of people watching. So
you don't have to focus on that. You know, let us handle that. You just lock it in the golf. The thing about your game, I was thinking, again, I've been thinking a lot about this. The thing about your game is you have such a reliable, consistent ball flight that you're able to take out half of the golf course. You know what I mean? Like, you're going to hit that reliable cut. And even if you don't hit it exactly how you want to, maybe it cuts a little more, it comes out a little weaker, whatever. But it's not like you have this wild, two-way, crazy, anything could happen miss. And if the fans are starting to learn, they're going to realize, I think, for the most part, it's like, oh, I'll just stand over on the left side, and Trent's going to hit his little cut, and I'm going to be totally safe. So I do have a lot of confidence in you, too, because I've seen how much now you've, like, refined and dialed in that cut that, like, even under pressure, even when you're really nervous, even in, like, God, like, I want a puke zone type settings that we're in, you still are able to rely on that cut, and that makes it a lot easier to just at least know what the ball is going to do.
Totally. And that's a big part of my game. And, you know, it's going to sound like a TaylorMade ad. I don't care, because it's the truth. The QI35 is the best driver I've ever owned. And I hit that thing so great. We went to the Kingdom, the shaft they put on it, I can just swing. The great thing about the QI35 that I've got in mind is I can swing. The harder I swing, the straighter it goes. And that's a dream. That is a dream come true. Instead of what I've done in the past where I've just sort of babied my swing because I don't want it to go crazy, with this, the harder I swing, the straighter it goes. So that being able to drive the golf ball, and I'm not bragging in front of you. That's not what I'm doing right now. You know what I mean? I can hit my driver pretty well.
I understand what you're doing right now, Trent. It's fine. No. It must be nice. Yeah.
I can hit my driver. I know where it's going. Not a shot. I also, when I'm into the P790s now, and I've been able to play a bunch of rounds with those. I play out of my club, Turtle Creek, shout out down here. Like I said, we played a bunch of Pebble rounds. So I've probably got 8 to 10 rounds with the P790s, and I love them. I hit them really well. And it's the same thing. The ball flight is similar, but with the P790s, the difference between those and the QIs and the stealths that I was in before, as far as I can tell, when you hit it good, you hit it really good. And it goes higher and it lands on the green. People who watch a qualifier video, I hit a couple irons that were quintessential P790 shots for me.
Crisp.
Yes.
They were crisp irons,
100%.
man.
The par 3, where I hit it to 5 feet, that's like as good as I can hit that club that I hit. And then you actually, I forget what hole it was, but you hit a great shot in there too. We both hit 7 irons. Mm-hmm. And you put one to like 3 feet. I put one to 12 feet. But I hit those and I'm like, damn, that's the difference between like a very forgiving club like my old irons and the P790s. It's like when you hit it, it goes a little further and a little higher, and it just stops on the green. It's fucking beautiful.
Yeah, you had this sound coming off of a few of your iron shots of just the proper like thump. Like they talk about it in with pros with their greenside bunker shots and like the proper thump that they hear when they hit it perfectly. This like when you hit an iron where it's like golf ball, then turf, then you could kind of hear the golf ball flying through the air like penetratingly. That's that exact sound that you had multiple times that you used to just not really have like with your irons. Even if you hit some good ones, it was always like a little thin, it felt like, and like came out hot and would like roll over sometimes the green or whatever. Whereas, man, these ones that you're hitting now, that sound right when you hit it is just like everyone kind of goes, ooh, oh, whoa.
It's a really nice feeling to have earned the iron graduation. You know what I mean? Like I know that TaylorMade put out new P790s, so it was like, oh my gosh, if Trent can get into these clubs, it would be great for marketing and all that. And it is true, but like I actually am at a spot in my game where right now switching to the P790s actually makes sense, and I earned it, and I hit good golf shots with them. And that's, man, when you get down to it, that's just fucking fun. I'm not in a club that I shouldn't be in, or I'm not at the right level. I am at the spot now where like P790s, bang, let's do it. And they're working and I'm hitting them great. And that is just, it's really fun. And I, again, run this tape back again in a week when they're hauling me off to jail because I hoselled one into the crowd and like 3 people are dead and people are screaming, something's on fire. But as it stands right now, I'm excited because my game feels really, really good. And a big part of that is to TaylorMade and just the work that I've put in.
Look, there's a lot of fun things to do in this world. We live in a time with entertainment and hobbies and activities where like you could find a lot of fun stuff to do. For us on this show, and I imagine most people listening to the show, there truly is nothing more fun in the world than playing good golf. Like playing shitty golf is fun. It's very fun. You're out there, you're having a good time, you're having laughs. It's infuriating. You get upset for a short little burst, but then you get over it and you laugh with your buddies and you just scrape it around and hopefully you have a couple big moments for the match. But at the end of the day, again, you're not at work is all the go-to joke. It's better than a good day at work and the whole deal. It's fun. Playing good golf, man, is just the single most fun thing ever because it has all the other qualities of just golf in general, where you're outside, you're surrounded by people that you like. There's all kinds of good jokes and humor and banter going on. It's usually at beautiful places because golf has just figured that out. So you're outside in this beautiful place, beautiful experience, great weather. And then if you're doing the activity shitty, it's still a great time. When you're doing it really well, just this added benefit of like self-accomplishment. It also just feels good, man. Like when you hit a ball properly, like watching the ball just fly is just beautiful. It's like beautiful.
It's so good. And go back and watch. We just put out a Kingdom video where we all get fit, our whole crew, all 6 of us. Go watch that video because it's great, and they're running a great sweepstakes. I don't know when that ends, so I hope it didn't expire by the time this podcast comes out. But they're giving away a full fitting at the Kingdom, new bag, top to bottom. TaylorMade's the best. So find one of the links. We all tweeted it out, all that. But if you go back and watch that video, I'm getting fit into the P790s that I'm using now, that Scotty Scheffler also used, and it's Adrian. And I'm starting to hit it really well. And he goes, "You're a golfer." And listen, anybody who picks up a club, even if you're a 55 handicap, if you go out there and play, you're a golfer. But when he said it, I know what he meant. And he was just like, dude, you're actually doing the thing. And it was like, that felt like that was the next chapter of my golfing life when Adrian, best club third in the world, Rory's guy, the most accomplished fitter you can really have. When he was like, man, you're really like, these are the right clubs for you. You're a golfer who needs to be in the P790s. Ever since then, I've had the confidence and I've just been playing really fun, awesome golf. And yeah, there's really nothing better than that.
Oh, dude, it's the absolute best. And it doesn't happen very often with most people in our audience, most people that play golf for the weekend, like, sure, you can play fine golf, but like when you play whatever relative to your level is really just good, solid golf. And you're like, dude, you also just experience so many more parts of the game the way that they're meant to be experienced that you otherwise just miss out on. Like course strategy, for example. When you're just playing fucking terrible and hitting it terrible, and then somebody will come up and be like, all right, you really want the proper line here is like at that palm tree and just you want to carry that bucket. You're like, no, dude, you don't understand. Okay, you don't understand it. Like I'm telling you,
you don't get
if
it.
this is on grass on the next shot and we have a swing, that's fucking incredible. So you miss when you're just slapping it around, and you're just not crisp. You're just trying to like scrape it up near the green and then chip to like where you don't blade it and then putt it not off the green and tap in for like a bogey and be like, all right, I suck, get me out of here. Dude, when you're actually playing golf, you learn that all of these other things exist. Like you're changing between maybe a 5-wood and a driver off the tee because you're like, actually, even though I do hit my 5-wood really good, it's like 235 to carry that bunker. So I'll absolutely carry it with my driver. And then when you have the approach shot, like all these things that we did, that really fun like lesson that we kind of did with Harry Higgs, where he puts out the field goal post and he's like, change your field goal posts from like, it shouldn't just be the middle of the green or the pin. You change it based on where the pin is. And then you're like, okay, I am going to hit this 8-iron instead of the 7-iron because I know how I'm flighting the ball and I can hit it a little bit safer to the meatier part of the green. Like all of these things now that you hear people talk about and that exist and that you've kind of experienced before are now all of a sudden in play for you when you're playing solid golf.
100%. And we're really tempting the golf gods here. Like I'm going to put up a 70 at TBC Sawgrass, but like I want to say one more thing about this, and then we should probably just like sprint to the next topic.
So
but
good.
I'm now on par fives. I am like on my layup shots. I will decide what club I want to hit for what number I want into the green. Like that. I wasn't doing that 2 years ago. I was just like rip it and God, I hope it gets as close as we can possibly get, and then just figure it out from there. But now I'll be like, all right, do I want a 100 shot? Do I want a 115 shot? Do I want a 130 shot? And that's going to what you're saying, where like that's real management. Like, all right, if I rip one up there and I got 100 yards, but I'm not great from 100 yards, so maybe we rip something else down there that's going to leave us 125, which is a number I love. Old me would have been like, we just got to get as close as we can to the hole. Now I'm saying, oh, maybe I want to be 15 yards back because I'm more comfortable in that club. That's just a whole new world for me. But it's like you're saying, and we're saying through this whole segment, it's fun to know what you're good at on a golf course and then be able to actually execute. That's really fun.
Yep. It's so fun. And then you can also avoid the stuff that you're bad at, like,
yes,
you could just kind of avoid that stuff for the most part. And if it's, you don't have to, you're not out there trying, nobody, again, on this show, we're not out there trying to shoot 65s. It's like, no, you're trying to post a pretty good score, avoid chaos, continue to do like, put yourself in a position where you're pretty good at stuff to play to your strengths. It's like, it's just so much fun when you're able to kind of do that. So yeah, we definitely didn't tempt anything at all here. Like you said, there's going to be, we're going to recreate that clip of that poor lady just duck hooking and killing those people on the left side of the fairway.
I hope not. Everybody just be warned when I'm out there. The game is feeling better, but I'm still, anything's possible for me. But to put a bow on this topic as well, me being able to play at TBC Sawgrass, I'm very excited. I am nervous, but I think it's going to be really, really fun.
The tournament, I want to talk about the actual tournament. There's really, it's a top 6 biggest event that we have in golf every year. 52 weeks in the year.
Yeah.
A lot of tournaments come and go. A lot of them we talk about low ratings, no juice, elevated events. So whenever there's not an elevated event, you get some pretty boring fields. If somebody especially blows people out, there's just not any real intrigue, whatever. This is it. This is about as good of a week as it gets. This golf course is so awesome. I think maybe it was 2 or 3 years ago now that we went down to the actual tournament for the first time, and I personally was just blown away. I know I've seen stadium courses before. There's a handful of them. They've kind of built them with the TBCs purposely, and they've done it here in Scottsdale. But it's still not as good as the stadium course and how efficient it is for viewing at TBC Sawgrass. I just can't get over how good it is. You can walk up to any hole with any group at any moment, and just the way that all the mounds are laid out to the perimeter of all the greens and the tee boxes, you could pretty much watch anybody play at any moment and just walk up and get yourself a pretty good viewing spot. And that's usually just not the case. We talk a lot about when you go to events, it's actually really, really hard to view and pay attention to golf at all when you go to golf events because there's just too much going on. It's laid out. The big names that you do want to see have all the crowds. You can't really get in there. TBC Sawgrass is spaced out just perfectly. It's usually nice weather. It looks like there's going to be some rain, but it's usually pretty warm, pretty sunny a lot of the days. People are having cocktails out there. Everybody's in a good mood. It's sort of like this early part of spring for a lot of folks. So they're starting to come out of their shell a little bit. And it's the highest, about the highest of stakes this damn tournament has had. I think Brandle's been arguing for like 25 years that this should just be a major championship. It's got the iconicness of the stretch of golf. I don't know that there really are many other courses that from just a pure shot value and entertainment value on a golf shot level that contends with this golf course. There's just not that many in the world. A lot of them, it just kind of looks like the same thing. It's cookie cutter. There's a guy on a tee box. There's a guy hitting an iron into a green. Cool. This one, the holes so well because it's here every year, yet it's also that elevated of an event. The holes are so unique. And when they come down that closing stretch, 16, 17, 18 are so iconic that it really does just get my juices kind of flowing thinking about watching that. You can watch any player. You go online, watching anybody navigate those 3 holes is just an absolute blast. So I really am very fired up for the players this week.
Yeah, the PGA Tour deserves credit for creating this event. Like we talk a lot about how do we create, whether it's TGL or Live or these other events that aren't as, they're just not as impactful or as meaningful. The PGA Tour deserves credit for creating something that is exactly that. Like I'm actually glad it's not a major because it shows that if you do it the right way, a tournament can become just as important on its own. Like the Tour Championship is a good example of it just feels empty. And I know they're trying to change it. We talked about it at a councilman meeting actually on how they're trying to change it to make it more interesting. But for the longest time, it was like, let's just throw a shit ton of money at this thing. And that's going to make it mean something. And you find out that that's actually not the case at all. What the PGA Tour has done with the players at TBC Sawgrass is create an event outside of the majors that feels just as big. Like if you win a players, that goes on your resume immediately. That's like, oh, has he won a players? How many has he won? Blah, blah, blah. Like that, they deserve a ton of credit for that. And again, I don't know exactly how they've done it. The fields are spectacular. It even has it's a big deal when John Rahm, who went to Live, he admitted he was sitting at home watching the tournament when Scotty was winning it, being like, man, this is a great tournament and I wish I was out there. That's when you got something. So it really is. And we've gone for a couple of years now, like you alluded to. It's an incredible golf course. You do know every single hole. You know who's won it and who hasn't or who's come close. Like everybody talks about, not everybody. We talk about Kevin Kisner coming so close to winning it and Ricky coming through.
I can't believe he didn't win that.
It was looking back now and how close we are with Kisner, I wish he would have won that. Ricky seems like a great guy, but we wanted Kevin Kisner to win that players. And imagine
we didn't even know we wanted him to win. We didn't even know.
Had no idea at the time. But imagine now every time we talked about Kevin Kisner on the show and every time we talk about him blading it out of a bunker at TGL and everybody's laughing and he's a great guy on the broadcast, which is true, but you would have to say, but he won that players, which was incredible. Like that
players champion.
Right. So that's how big that tournament is outside of the majors. And it's a testament to the PGA Tour. Nobody gives the PGA Tour credit anymore. And I understand why, because it's a fucking shit show and they really let a few things get too far out in front of them and they couldn't control it. But the players, they have done that correctly. 100%.
Yeah, I agree. They've nailed it. I'm trying to think about why, right? Like why has it gotten to this point? And I really do think a huge part of it is the golf course. I really think the golf course adds so much to it. And maybe that's obvious to say, but like that golf course and the way that it's laid out and the way that it sort of crescendos is just so iconic. It builds so much drama. And then, the clips that have come out over the years, obviously like the Tiger putt, Sergio hitting it in the water over and over again there. Ricky and Kiz going like birdie for birdie for birdie on the 17th in the playoff. It's had so many iconic moments that have really built it up. And it's interesting. Like I've said a bunch of times, like Torrey Pines in the Farmers Insurance Open and Bay Hill and the Arnold Palmer, to me, always feel like huge events because Tiger used to always play them and always win them. That's like, that always stood out to me as like, why is this considered a huge event? Because Tiger didn't play that many events, and when he did, he would just win there. So I was like, oh, this event is very high prestige because Tiger Woods shows up and wins every year. That's amazing. Tiger doesn't even win at Sawgrass very often. I think he's won there twice ever. He won obviously the one in whenever that I think it was 01, which is when he had the better than most, and then he won the time in like 2013 when he had the drop on 14 that some folks were sketchy about, and then Sergio hit in the water. But like, comparatively speaking, he's one of those other places like 8 times. He's only won a couple times, so it's not like Tiger has elevated this event that much. I mean, he had the better than most. It really has, been able to stand on its own as this iconic, massive event that is clearly above the rest. And you kind of started out talking about it, but it's like people list majors that someone has won, and then they will add, oh yeah, and he won a Players Championship. That's like a very notable addition to any resume.
Tiger not winning there, he won there twice, but not winning there as much as the others might add to the cachet of the event, because you also get good champions there, right? Like, I was just looking at the list, like Nicklaus won the first few, and you got Fred Couples, and you got Tiger in there, and Rory won one, and JT won one. Like, you get good champions. So it's clearly an event that the greats want to play well, and they usually do play well. I mean, we're saying Tiger didn't win that many. He still won 2 of them. Like, it's an event that he conquered a couple of times. So I think the golf course, I think 17 is a big part of is why it's so iconic. Like, it might be that simple. People are just like, oh, that's the one with the island green. The PGA Tour has put a lot into the marketing of the event. Like, this is their crown jewel, and that seems to mean something. I don't know exactly what the formula is, and I wish we knew what it was, because we could have a hell of a lot more meaningful golf tournaments if we knew what it was. But it's just got that thing. It's got that thing that people are like, that's a very important golf event. And if you win it, it's a huge fucking deal.
I remember last year, man, afterwards we had that big discussion just about how, like, God, I wish we could get whatever that was more often, because we had Scotty, Wyndham, Xander all down the stretch, with 3 or 4 holes left. It's like, with all the water on 16, 17, 18, anything could happen. Somebody could make eagle, birdie. Somebody could go water ball. You just really have no idea what's going to happen. And the lip out from Wyndham at the end, it just was so awesome. And it's like, we don't really, I think a lot of folks, with the fracturing in the game and the fact that like Tiger and Phil are sort of over the hill for the most part, especially like Tiger's just not even really playing much anymore, is like, okay, can golf really, really deliver and really drive and really have the juice? And that Players Championship last year just did. It was absolutely phenomenal. So yeah, I'm very jacked up for this week. The weather actually looks pretty damn good. I think Monday, this Monday already occurred if you'll see this podcast, but Monday looks like kind of a washout. It's going to be pretty damn rainy, but then the rest of the week looks pretty nice. So yeah, fired up to get down there. Can't wait.
Very excited. I'm very excited. Hopefully, I'd like it to be soft for me on Wednesday if that's possible. But
that would be really nice, wouldn't it?
That'd be really nice.
All right, let's do some voicemails. We're gonna do a little from the gallery, which is brought to you by Truly. We love Truly. We're on once this show comes out, we're a couple Barstool Classics deep already, and the Truly Unruly, they're the first high ABV hard seltzer that actually tastes great. It's a hard seltzer Truly Unruly, hard seltzer that breaks all the rules. Drinks light, it parties hard. It's 8%. Alexander Ovechkin, 8% ABV, hits hard but still tastes amazing. Comes in 4 fresh flavors: tropical twist, berry blast, citrus crush, strawberry smash. People were loving these last week. They really are great. They hit you, which is what you like. Trying to feel good out there. It is the official hard seltzer of Foreplay. Find Truly Unruly at a store near you, or visit www.trulyhardseltzer.com. That is Truly Unruly, presenting from the gallery. Reminder, voicemails now. We're doing voicemails. We've transitioned. Nobody's ever done that before. 646-685-4717. Let's hit it, Alex Bush.
What's up, fellas? This is Raleigh from Texas. Got a near-death experience on the golf course story for you. So, playing in fivesome. My 4 buddies are playing from the tips, and I'm playing my appropriate tee box, one up from the tips. one of my buddies struggling all day long. He should have been playing up from one up just like I was. But anyways, on the 18th tee box, he blasts another ball OB, and I go up, and my tee box is probably 15, maybe 20 yards ahead of his on the 18th tee box. And I start teeing up my ball, and I look back, and he's teeing up another one. And I look back, and I'm like, hey, dude, just wait till I hit my drive, and then you can tee off again. So I hit my drive, and I start walking off the tee box. And about the time I'm getting to the tee marker, I look back, and this dude is in his backswing and just absolutely destroys the ball, and it's coming right at my head. So I'm holding my driver by the shaft, and I just throw my hand up in front of my face, and the ball just squares up the shaft of my driver just under my hand, like it nicks my hand as well. I hit the ground, hit my driver so solid that it broke the shaft in 3 places. But anyways, just a pretty crazy thought that something as small around as my driver shaft deflected a 150-mile-an-hour golf ball from just going straight through my dome. So just would love to hear y'all's reaction about that. But anyways, appreciate it, fellas. Big fan of the channel. Y'all have a good one.
That's scary. Didn't that happen to during a presidential assassination? Wasn't somebody got shot in like the chest, and they had their speech folded up, and I think it stopped a bullet. I can't remember what president it was.
I think you're right. I don't know exactly who that is either. We could look that up. Thank you for the call. That's a miracle. I mean, that's absolutely horrifying and a miracle. I will say it is not talked about enough. It is not talked about enough how casually we just accept that in golf people are hitting 150-mile-an-hour bullets all over the place, all the time, and no one wears helmets or armor or anything. We're just out there hitting these just pellets all over the place with no control. The fact that people don't get more injured more often is absolutely stunning. I'm glad this man's okay, and you got to think that's a little bit of like somebody's looking out for you there, because a driver shaft is not, I mean, it's the size of like a pencil. So that thing just misses him. He's fucking gone, this guy.
Yeah, the smartest thing that amateur golfers do is they stay behind the guy who's furthest out. Like that probably cuts out, 98% of potential fatalities. Because if you are like, if say you hit your drive a little bit further than your buddy and you just drive to your ball, you're asking for it. Like that's psychotic. Mm-hmm. You watch pros do it and they'll be right in front because like we were talking about earlier, the margin of error, there's a 0.001% chance that a pro is going to hit another pro. Us amateurs staying behind the guy, you got to think you're going to be okay unless he hits a tree and it comes back and then you got to duck and run. But I am surprised sometimes with stuff like this where there's not more deaths on golf courses. I'm glad there's not, but it's like you're saying, it's bullets out there. It's bullets.
I got to tell you, I think about maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago, I had probably the scariest self-inflicted encounter with a golf ball that I've ever had. It was the very first hole. We were playing here in the desert. It was the very first hole. I hit my drive a little bit left. So I was in like the desert. It wasn't that far left, just for everybody listening. It was just a little too far left. So I was like barely in the desert. But it was a dog leg left. So I had to try to hit this like low cut around the first tree and then have it rise. And so I was going to try to get it to like cut towards the right edge of the green and just get up there so I could chip, And so I've got this like 6-iron back in my stance and I'm trying to hit this low cut riser thing under this tree that's a little bit up to my right. And I'm over there by myself. Nobody's around. They like drop me off of the cart. Good luck in the desert rigs, whatever. And Trent, I cold shank this thing and it hits this tree and branch in front of me. And I look up and the only thing I didn't even see it. The only thing I witnessed is I could feel the wind of it fly right by my face and directly behind me to the left. It had to be going over 100 miles an hour. And it just went right by my face. And I was so shooken up for 2 holes. I was like, dude, I'm like afraid to swing the club right now.
That's also like, that's a tough headline for all of us,
Dude.
Like
I
Riggs
almost didn't want to tell anybody. I almost didn't even want to tell anybody in the group.
He did what? And he's at what hospital? We got to go where? It's like, fuck.
Dude, it was. No one else was around, and they're just. I get up to the green, and they're just like, what do you lie here? I'm like, you don't understand, dude. I hit my ball is so deep in the desert. It took off the whiskers on my beard when it went flying by, and it's just way back in the desert. It was absolutely. I never even saw it, dude. I never even saw it.
Scary.
I just heard it and felt the wind of it go by my face. It had to be that close, and it was just motoring. And it was also one of those like. It caught me so by surprise because the window that I'm looking for this thing I'm going to hit this sick little low cut, right? The window I'm looking for is like 10 yards left of where this ball actually ended up coming out and then returning towards me at. So and when you start around a golf too, you never really know what you got. It's always a little bit of like a box of chocolates. You're like, all right, I know I had a decent range test. Like, what do we got out here? First hole, dude, left desert, shank into a tree, almost killed myself. Was just like, all right, I'm going to meet you guys on the second tee here. I'm done on this hole.
Fuck, that's scary.
It was
Alex
very
Bush,
scary.
did you pull up that presidential thing you had before?
Yeah, it was a Teddy Roosevelt, a glasses case and a 50-page speech, slow to bullet.
Okay. Wow.
50-page speech? What kind of fucking
50-page speech.
Well, you think about now, they wouldn't. Now they just use teleprompters. I doubt they had teleprompters for Teddy Roosevelt. That 50-page speech saved his life. If he were a modern day president, he might not be so lucky.
Or, if he was a little lazy that week with his speeches and only had like a 15-page speech or something, that bullet might be right lodged in his heart right now.
Yeah, that's scary stuff. But I forget the caller's name, and I apologize for that, but I'm glad you're okay.
What was it, like Raleigh or something? Riley.
Oh, Riley to Texas. Riley to
Texas.
Thank you, Riley. Thank you, Riley from Texas.
Let's listen to another one.
Mm-hmm.
What's up, boys? Connor from New York, long-time listener. Quick question about Augusta. You guys talking about it on the last pod got me thinking. Do you think anybody has played in the past, let's say, 20 years? Do you think anybody's played a round alone at Augusta, even a member? I feel like that club is too uppity to not make foursomes or twosomes or whatever it may be. I don't know if there's anybody alive today who's actually played a round alone at Augusta. What do you think? Have a good one.
Connor from New York.
Quickly, it's funny to think when he says 20 years ago, that was 2005. Like, to me, it seems like when you think 20 years ago, it's like, wow, that was the 70s. And it's like, or the 80s. It's like, no, man, that was pretty recently. But no, I don't know if I don't think I told this on this podcast, but I was with a bunch of guys from Seattle like a week ago, and we were talking about the Kraken. They're a huge Seattle Kraken fan. And I said, what is this, like their second year? And the guy was like, it's like their fifth year or sixth year. I was like, dude, what? Dude, I'll say this, and maybe it's for everybody. I don't know. Maybe COVID changed everything just in terms of timelines. Maybe it's that I'm getting older, but time starts flying as you get older.
Dude.
Like it's whizzing by you. Felt like when you were in high school or when you're even younger than that, every day takes forever. Now it's just everything is flying by me.
Dude, when you're in like middle school, getting from like 8:30 a.m. to like 10:30 a.m. is 10 years. Like
it's a slog.
Yep. Sitting in there looking at the clock. Everyone's just bored. There's a couple absolute assholes up front raising their hand. They just won't shut up. You're just sitting there like, we got to get to lunch, man. Like, this is
starving. Boy is starving. To answer this guy's question, not to answer because I don't have one, but I would be curious to know, like, what are the rules for members when they're playing Augusta? Can you just like put your name on the tee sheet and you're like, I'm going to go out as a single at 9:15, and if nobody else is coming with me, then I'm just going to go. Like, do they do that?
I have no idea. I like to think like Connor from New York thinks, that like Augusta, if you're a member, is reserved for you for maybe a few 2-day stretches a year where you bring 3 buddies in, you schedule it 6 months in advance, and it's almost like as regimented as when you book like a bandit trip or something. You got to like book it way out, and like they don't want you on property all the time. You know, I can't imagine. I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm fucking wrong because of the Augusta members. I can't imagine that after, you had a meeting in quickly on a Tuesday and you're an Augusta member that you just roll through the gates, grab a cart or grab your bag and be like, I'm going to go spin around the back 9 real quick. I just can't even imagine that.
I hope that that's true though. Like when you're talking about something like this, it's almost like who holds the power? Is it the golf club or the membership? Like if the golf club,
Right.
if Augusta's like, no, you can't do that because we're Augusta and you go out in foursomes and it's very regimented. Or is it like when you become a member at Augusta National, you can pretty much do whatever you want. And if you just want to grab your bag, no caddy, and just go out there on a Tuesday morning, you can do that. I'm very curious what the answer of that is.
Dude, do you think anyone has ever carried their bag, had a light speaker with like light music going solo, and just hoofed it out there at Augusta National?
I think the speaker crosses the line. That would be the only part of that
Like
where
a
I
little,
wouldn't
like,
think that.
a little like poppy country, you know, like Beyonce country style out there, just walking. You're on like the third hole at Augusta. You got a nice start. You like maybe made an okay bogey on 1. You had a solid par on 2. Now you're in the fairway on 3, walking with your little speaker. You're just like, fuck yeah, we're doing the thing.
That if you are able to do that, and if anyone has done that, that I think is the pinnacle of success in America.
Yeah.
You can walk by yourself, listening to a little tunes, maybe smoke a cigar, and you're at Augusta National, and you're like, I'm the only person in the world doing this right now at this golf club. Like, I don't know. I don't know who we can even ask. Like, are members allowed to answer questions like that? Maybe not. But I would love to get an answer on that because it's a super interesting question.
It's a common theme in the years of this show. We've said this before, but like, how about the fact that, you know, it's 9:15 at night where you're at. It's 6:15 at night where I'm at. How about that Amen Corner is just there right now? Like, it's just there. Like, that's a piece of land where it's peaceful. There's maybe a couple, like, I don't know, like birds and grasshoppers like making some noise, and otherwise it's just kind of peaceful. You could probably see the moonlight glistening off of like Ray's Creek, and it's just sitting there chilling.
Right, because to us, it just appears every April for the most part.
Right.
It's just like
it's Santa Claus. It's fucking Santa
it's like
Claus.
a Severance. It's like we talk a lot about Severance on the show, but it's like a Severance golf course. It just re-enters every April. It's like, whoa, there it is. But it actually is living an Audi life the other 11 months of the year. People play it.
An Audi life, dude.
There's members that go play that golf course. Like, yeah, it is. It's a stunning piece of property because we have decided over the years that it's like this. And it's for the right reasons, because it is historic and all that stuff. But it's like, this is the golf course where it's like, it's the one where we think about like, man, it's really just sitting there. Like, there's no other golf course that I think about. Like,
No.
It's like in Florida where I just joined, like, I'm not at night, like being like, wow, the 6th hole is just out there, isn't it? It's like, no, bro, of course it's out there. But Augusta has that effect on people where it's like, man, it's such rarefied air and hollowed ground where it's like, man, it's out there.
Dude, that 12th green is just there right now, man. Like, it's just there. That grass is growing. Like, it's grown a little bit since we started talking about this, and it's just sitting there hanging. That's it. That's what it's doing. That's like everybody listening there. You're sitting where you're sitting, or in your car, maybe on your way to work. Maybe you're in a little traffic, and then somewhere else is just the 11th and 12th and 13th holes at Augusta National. They're just there.
You brought up it doesn't have anything to do with the voicemail, but you talked about the time difference between where I am and where you are. I just got to give a huge shout out to Arizona. I'm not a big Arizona guy. I've made that pretty clear.
Mm-hmm.
The desert, I don't understand it. I don't know where all the water comes from. I'm not sure people are supposed to live there.
It comes from a river.
But the one thing it has going for it is it has just decided not to follow the rules of daylight savings time, and for that, I love it.
Arizona is getting a lot of love from my friend circle this week. And I had a couple friends that were in town from the East Coast, and they said the exact same thing. They were like, dude, I was so stressed out about having to, leap forward. We're gonna have to leap forward on Saturday night. And they're like, and then I just realized that you guys just don't do it. They're all asking me about it. How come you guys got away with that? I'm like, I don't know. I moved here during COVID. I just ran away from the real world, and now I live in this other new world in the desert where we just keep the time all the time the same, which makes, like, to me that seems like what everyone should and would just do. And someone else made the point with my group this weekend of like, I would rather it be light out later rather than earlier, like all year, like most of the year.
Right. So where we are now now that we've leapt forward, we got to just stay here because it's
right.
Because it stays light later. And in the morning there, you can sleep longer because it's darker all the time. Think about this. If we had it the way Arizona is now, where they're just like, hey guys, we're not doing it. If the whole world was like that, if somebody came forward and was like, hey, however many months it is, we should take the clocks back or we should take them forward, that person would be an outcast. And I get that. I think it had something to do with farming. Like when farming, I don't know. I don't know the specifics of it. I'm going to sound like an idiot. I'm just saying, if you brought the idea today, people would be like, we're just not going to do that. We're just going to keep it the same.
There's no way they would accept that proposal. They might burn you at the stake. Man, what do you mean you're going to just change all of the time? Like, no, it's crazy. And you're right. This is the right one. It's very sad for you guys to think that, like, just yesterday, it just was darker an hour earlier for you guys for no reason.
For months.
That's crazy. Why?
Let's just stay right here. Let's just do it. Everybody wants it. Everybody.
I heard one theory, wasn't it, that like electricity, that if it was supposed to save on electricity or something somehow? I don't know. I don't really know. But I'm glad that you
probably
guys...
smarter people out there who have maybe a justification for it. But my anecdotal knee-jerk reaction is, let's just keep it this way.
One thing I will say is now for the next 6 months, scheduling gets a little tougher for your boy because I'm 3 hours behind you guys. So it's like, hey, we're gonna have a 9 a.m. meeting. I'm like, that's 6 a.m. for me.
Yeah. That does make it tough.
I'm a morning person. I can get over it.
You are.
Something I want to shout out real quick. The Cologuard Classic was here down in Tucson. I was actually down there on Wednesday. Myself, Beef, a bunch of our production guys were at the Cologuard Classic on Wednesday. They put out a great video of Jerry Kelly roasting my golf swing. He actually had a great comment on there. He goes, he's got hand action. He just doesn't know what to do with his body. That's actually a perfect description of my golf swing. I do, man. I got pretty good hands, pretty good coordination, and I truly have no idea how you're supposed to use your actual body in the golf swing. So he put that absolutely perfectly. But the Cologuard Classic, we don't sit here and talk about Champions Tour events a ton. This isn't the Kirk Minahan show. I know, he's a huge Champions Tour guy, especially Fred Couples. But Cologuard Classic is an event that essentially exists to raise awareness for colon cancer and for getting screened for colon cancer. So we went down there Wednesday. We filmed a very special video that we're going to put out in a few weeks. So I don't want to spoil the whole thing, but we do have a coworker of ours who we spent an entire day with, Markham, who's a software engineer at Barstool Sports, diagnosed and is battling colon cancer. Phenomenal guy, big golfer, and went down there and spent the day at the Cologuard Classic. Had ourselves a lovely time, and he was kind of telling me all about how important getting screened early is, because it's all about prevention. If you get screened earlier and they find it earlier, the chances of survival and treatment go up like infinity. And then he was flying to DC to do some more stuff in terms of trying to promote, screening and getting checked and awareness around colon cancer. I believe it says, I looked this up from the website, the mission of the Cologuard Classic by Exact Sciences is to raise awareness of colon cancer, highlight available screening options, and recognize those affected by the disease. So just being there throughout the entire day with a bunch of the families, with a bunch of the players, Jerry Kelly, Podrick Harrington, Stuart Sink, we spent some time with, was just very cool, because you do a lot of stuff. We talk a lot about live, PGA Tour, money, and golf, and these guys playing for this and playing for that. Dude, seeing all these guys spend time with all families of people that have been affected by colon cancer, and just how much time they put into all these people and hearing how much it meant. It was just, I wanted to give a huge shout out to the Cologuard Classic down here in Tucson that went on this past weekend, because it's an excellent event. All the people are doing, they're putting all this effort in for the right reason. And it was just really cool, Trent, to be down there and be around the event for the day.
Yeah, that's very cool. And it's obviously very important, the screening, the awareness, to have the tournament be listen, we're pretty much, what we want to do is just, it's awareness. That's what all of this is. And that's a very noble reason to put on a golf tournament. Like you're saying, there's a lot of stuff going on the golf floor where it's oh my gosh, is this all just greed? And that's kind of what is driving everything. To have a tournament like that, to have awareness be sort of the thing driving behind it, is very cool. I'm very excited to see the video that you guys shot. Yeah, it's just all good things. So I'm actually glad you brought that up, because you bringing that up is just the people listening to this are now like, oh, maybe I should get screened, and you should, and everybody should, and early detection and all the things that you listed. So yeah, just a very good cause, a very good tournament, and just again, I can't wait to see the video.
Go check out their website. This is not, this isn't no paid advertising. It's just being around these folks and realizing how devastating this disease could be. And then also realizing that there are a bunch of good available screening methods out there to go get screened for colon cancer. And if something is discovered, the earlier, it's like a trillion times better if they catch it early. So you should just go get screened. So even just raising awareness, like you said, makes all the effort that those folks are putting in, a lot more worth it if folks go out, get screened, and then, you can move on with your life. But yeah, awesome event. Being down there was very, very cool. And we got some great footage from it. Met a lot of great people. So awesome event. Good for the Champions Tour. All right, Bushman, you want to do one more voicemail?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it.
Do another voicemail. Let's do it. He loves it.
Hey, what's up, boys? This is Kevin calling in from Southern California. Big fan of the show. I wanted to get your guys' thoughts on something that would be pretty creative for the PGA Tour. Something like in Happy Gilmore, where there's the Waterbury Open, and Happy won that tournament to secure a spot on the PGA Tour. What do you guys think of how wild it would be if they had a tournament once a year with like something like 100-player field? Anyone around the world, around the country, had a chance to secure a spot on the PGA Tour, and just the broadcasts and all the craziness that would go on from all the different types of level of golf out there. I think that'd be a really fun, cool idea, and definitely pretty entertaining. Just want to hear your guys' thoughts on that.
That is a great point that he made, that the Waterbury Open just existed and allowed Happy this avenue to just get on the PGA Tour. I never really thought of it that way. And for him to bypass the Korn Ferry Tour and Q School and just go and win the Waterbury Open really was a great opportunity for Happy. And I'm glad that it worked out. But
Huge.
I would love it. I would absolutely love it. I know like everyone inherently is going to be like, well, what about all the people that are grinding on the Korn Ferry Tour? Like, isn't that just like what Q this is, what Q School is, and like what that whole tour is? And that would be a real tricky situation you would have to navigate. But outside of that, I would say absolutely. If they just did one weekend, one event, 100 people that you had in terms of like qualifications, however you did it, maybe it was just whoever paid the most. I don't even know what you could do. You just get all these like rich random people in there. I don't know what you could do. But if you just had one weekend where it's like the winner of this event is just on the PGA Tour and it's basically a bunch of like Joe Schmoes out there, I would be a big fan of that.
Yeah, listen, if you set aside the full-on revolt that there is going to be on the Korn Ferry Tour from Korn Ferry Tour players, if you just set that aside, because, brother, they're going to be pissed, because
the conversation I'm going to have with Alistair is going to be really shitty conversation.
He's the first guy I thought of.
Okay.
We've watched Alistair go through literal blood, sweat, and tears these last few seasons and miss it by a hair, just the smallest of margins, and it's devastating. And I actually think it's an even better idea. I like the idea, and on top of that idea, I want a video of Riggs telling Alistair that this is happening. That like, hey man, I know you've been trying really hard and you're really close, but it hasn't happened for you. I don't know if you saw this piece of news, but they're holding a tournament where anybody can enter as long as you're not a Korn Ferry Tour member, essentially. If you win the golf tournament, you're just on the tour. And I don't know if you leave that room. I really don't think you leave. I think a fight ensues and somebody dies, because again, I'm with you in that I love the idea, because you would just get the most random people on the PGA Tour, potentially a Happy Gilmore type. But boy, those lower levels of tour are going to be furious.
Yeah, they're going to be upset. I could just, hey, Alistair, this is Riggs. I know you don't have service on your third Frontier flight of the day from Panama back to the U.S. for your one-day break while you're trying to get points. But we're hosting a tournament, man. I just wanted you to know about it. Can't play in it, but someone's going to just leapfrog your ass and go right to the tour. It'd be a tough sell, but the tournament, yeah, I like it. I do enjoy that Happy just happened to, right? Like he just happened to live down the street from the Waterbury Open.
Perfect.
Yeah, it was nice. I love Adam Sandler, dude. I think that guy, he came up in our round today, and we were like, that guy's he seems perfect. He seems happy. He seems comfortable. Seems like a phenomenal guy. All of his co-stars love him. He wears whatever the hell he wants. He's got a nice family. He's playing basketball with locals wherever he goes. I love Adam Sandler.
He does seem like one of the few mega celebrities who has done it the right way. Like you're
Hard
saying,
to
brings all his buddies on. He's just all of his friends are in all of his movies. He's got a gajillion dollars. Like I think Netflix gave him a huge deal to just he makes the movies he wants to make. Like you said, he wears whatever he wants. Seems like a genuinely nice guy. I think, like in terms of, I mean, we've had a lot of them with celebrities where it's like, oh my gosh, everybody loves this person, and then they just have the most devastating downfall you've ever seen. Like I think we've seen that 50 times since I've been an adult. I don't think this would happen, but if it ever comes for Adam Sandler, it's going to be the most devastating thing that, like, if we find out he's actually a huge asshole, I haven't heard anything like that. That's definitely not true, because he seems like the most genuine guy ever. We just got to hope that just continues, and he's awesome. And I think it is, because it's true.
I think so too. I don't think it's coming for him. I think he's awesome. And yeah, I love Adam Sandler. Even if that happens, I'm just going to ignore it and still like Adam Sandler, I think, no matter what happens.
That's fine. I don't think it's going to happen, because literally everybody's like, this is the nicest, chillest dude who we've ever met, who is also just a mega, mega celebrity.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It may not feel like it yet, depending on where you live, but springtime is right around the corner. Know how you can tell? Golfers are hitting the links, and we have some tournaments to talk about. And if you want to do more than just talk, put your money where your mouth is. Get in on all the tee to green action with DraftKings Sportsbook. From Thursday's opening round through the closing round, Sunday, DraftKings Sportsbook has you covered with tournament props, live betting, odds boosts, and so much more. It's going to be great this weekend. Obviously, one of the big events. Going to be a lot of drama, a lot of volatility out there when it comes to the leaderboard with rounds. It's a difficult golf course. You can make some birdies. You can make some bogeys. We talked a lot about, I know Alex Bush tailed my pick on Mr. Morikawa this past weekend. Yes, we came up short, but also, yes, it was an absolute blast having something on the line, having a little bit of skin in the game, and rooting for my friend Kyle Morikawa, even though he came up short.
Yeah, it's fun. Even if, picking winners is fun, but if you want to do top 20, top 10s, those are really fun, because you don't feel like you're ever really out of it unless your guy misses the cut, which, that will happen. But top 10, top 20, a guy can get in there. I mean, if you want to get the monster odds are if you pick the winner, but top 10, top 20, I've been doing a lot of that on the DraftKings Sportsbook. Really, really fun. Just fun to get involved. Put it in your group chat with your buddies and everybody ride it. Just really, really fun stuff.
It's a fantastic time. DraftKings Sportsbook is delivering. Here's something special for first timers. New DraftKings customers bet $5 to get $150 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use our code FORE, that's FORE, for new customers to get $150 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. You can now order lottery tickets right from your phone with JackPocket, America's #1 lottery app. I love the lottery, Trent. I think the lottery is awesome. Yep. I think, people might think like, lottery, what kind of investment is that? Whatever. I think the lottery is so fun just in how much you fantasize about what you would do if you won the lottery.
Correct.
It's worth all of it.
And you can do it from your phone. Like that's a dream. And you do JackPocket, who knows? You win the whole thing and bang, like you're saying, you're living a dream. So get involved, use JackPocket, and who knows? Could happen.
JackPocket has so many lottery games to choose from. They've got Powerball, Mega Millions, and all other official state lottery games. Best of all, new customers get your first lottery ticket free using our code GOLF at checkout. That is code GOLF, GOLF. That is the word golf podcast. The code is GOLF. You get your first lottery ticket free using our code GOLF at checkout. Download JackPocket app now. Don't forget to use the code GOLF. JackPocket, America's #1 lottery app and official partner of Barstool Sports. All right. Are you guys, how are you getting to Sawgrass? You guys driving?
We're driving.
Wow. What's that drive look like?
3 hours and 45 minutes.
That's not too bad. You can do podcasts. You can listen to music. What are you thinking?
I don't know. I'll probably we got a couple of cars. So I mean, I'm always on board to listen to music. I don't think I talked about this. I drove home from the Myrtle Beach Classic because the weather was getting dicey, and there was like, if you fly out tomorrow, I don't think the planes are even going to take off. So I just rented a car and started driving south, and I don't mind that. I like a long drive. I recently, a couple months ago now, I had my car in New York because I used to live there, and then I moved down to Florida and I didn't have my car. So I knew at some point I was going to have to bite the bullet and fly back up to New York and drive my car all the way down. I did that no problem. I like a long drive. I'll listen to podcasts. I'll listen to music. I've made it pretty apparent on this podcast that I've recently gotten pretty into the Grateful Dead and Billy Strings, and that type of music lends itself to like just long sets and long songs. And I just throw on a concert and I rip down the Eastern Seaboard and I have a blast. So
just your
a 3 hour and 45-minute drive is nothing to me.
Ripping down the highway, heading down to Florida. I love it.
Dude, it really is music that lends itself to just like long jam sessions, and you're just like cruising at 74 miles per hour, and you're just like, life's pretty good right now, you know? I'm kind of loving this.
It's like, honestly, you and like my mother have now like the same exact habit. You just love to go on long drives and listen to like, I don't think she's listening to a ton of Grateful Dead these days, but like classic rock is what she could just rip through all the time.
I will say on my drive down, a guy on a Harley gave me the middle finger.
Wow.
I really can't even tell you why. I don't think I did anything that wrong. Like I definitely didn't cut him off. Like, I'm very
a shitty driver. I
don't know. I think I'm a pretty good driver. I mean, this guy would definitely argue against that, but like, I don't remember a move where I'm like, oh, this guy's probably going to give me the finger. But as soon as he kind of got around me, he just threw that finger up. And at first I was so surprised. I was like, who's that for? Who's that middle finger for? And
you're pointing, you're like, is that me? Is that at me? Is that me?
Is that, I'm looking behind me like, is the car behind me? I would like never I'm pretty conscious of everybody. I don't
bumper sticker. What do you have?
I got nothing on my bumper sticker. I got nothing. I try to be friendly to all drivers, but he just boom, hit me with a finger, and it took my breath away. I was so embarrassed, but I don't think I did anything wrong.
Road rage. I'm very afraid of road rage. I will not, like there's people that will experience a confrontation and they'll escalate the confrontation. Like, fuck you. No, fuck you, dude. If somebody in any way is upset with me on the road, I will just cower and remove myself from the situation. I'll get in the right lane, drive as slow as possible until they're just gone as fast as possible. Road rage is a different animal, man. I think people just lose their minds. They can't handle it. You don't know what they got. They might have a gun. You don't know what their background is. You don't know anything about them. I just run away from the situation.
How about these psychos who will, when mad at someone on the road, will pull in front of them and start hitting their brake? And it's like, when I see that going down, I'm with you. If the speed limit's 65, like I want there to be a lane, and this probably does exist, but I want there to be a set lane where it's just, I'm going to go the mile per hour that the sign says, and everybody just go. Everybody else just go. Like, even sometimes the right lane, it becomes a little bit of a dick swinging contest. If you're going the speed limit and the guy in the right lane everybody's still trying to push. I need a third lane where I'm the mile per hour crew. Whatever the sign says, I'm going that exact miles per hour, and you guys just fly by me. I don't care.
It's like you, me, and the autonomous vehicles are in that lane. Let's just go exactly as it's posted. I'm sort of that way too. 10 and 2. I'm not trying to get here any earlier, any later. I'm just trying to get there safely. That's all I really care about.
It's me, you, and the Waymos in that third lane. just going 65, or if it gets bumped up to 70, I'll go 70. I probably sound like a huge pussy, but no, I just like, I don't, because like I said, I'm with you. I don't have anywhere I'm really going. Even if you go in a 65, if you go 80, that time, like ETA time, doesn't drop that much.
No,
it doesn't go down as much as you want. You want that thing like flying down. It really doesn't change that much. So I like to take my time. I probably sound like a loser. I don't care. I just want to sit in the lane and I want to listen to Grateful Dead music.
The Waymos are taking over here in Scottsdale.
Dude, we were in San Francisco after the dad bod, and there might have been more Waymos than real cars, real people.
They're everywhere. They do a
Everywhere.
lot of spinning things on the Waymo. You ever notice that? There's a lot of.
We recorded the podcast. Now we're just talking. We recorded the podcast at your place, a couple months ago during the Waste Management or whatever that was. And I wasn't familiar with Waymos, and one drove by your apartment, and I went like this because I thought it was a Google car. I thought it was going to take, because there's so many spinning things on it that I'm with you. I was like, oh man,
that was hilarious.
Really
Alex Bush was there. That's right. I forgot about that. I was just like, and everybody's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I want to be on Google Maps.
This guy's like, why are people flicking me off when I'm driving around? And everybody who drives by, he's like, wow.
That might be true. I might be more of a problem on the road than I realize. Like that's the worst type of driver, and I might be at where I don't know how bad I am.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think that's true. I think I'm an okay driver. I don't think I should have got flicked off by the guy in the Harley. You know, he can do whatever he wants. But yeah, Waymos in San Francisco, people just sitting in the front seat and just nobody just ripping them down the highway. Listen, that's probably the future. Run this back in 50 years. And they're gonna be like, wow, these guys are just dinosaurs, not embracing the future. But right now, as it stands, when I see a Waymo, I'm like, wow, that's really something.
That's special. That's special. I've never been in one yet. I have not done one yet, but a lot of folks around here do them very frequently.
I don't know. I think I would. With all that said, I would try one. I would get in one.
All right. Well, it's Players Week. I think we might be meeting the commish this week. I think that's on our radar here.
Is that true?
I think there's a chance we're meeting the commish. I don't know.
I gotta check my email.
I don't know if that's a lock. I've seen the name thrown around a lot. There's like a press conference. There's some high council stuff that's occurring. And so I think there's a chance we might meet the commish. But regardless, I can't wait to get down there to the Jacksonville, Ponte Vedra Beach area for the event. Can't wait to see a bunch of folks. I know, we always get very lucky, run into a lot of our fans. So see you in the old merch shop. We're going to be selling a bunch of merchandise, promoting it, cruising around. Come root on Trent Ryan on Wednesday. I think the tee times, I looked them up, are like 4, 4:15, 4:30, somewhere around there is the tee times for this thing. And, who knows? Could be Trent Ryan, could be Wesley Bryan. You don't know who's going to win, but this thing is going to be a hell of an event. So get your asses out there. I don't have anything else, Trent. Do you?
I got nothing.
All right. Thank you for listening. We'll be back on Thursday. Thanks to all our callers. Thanks to Alex Bush for editing the show. Hit it hard.
Hit it hard.